Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Bell. Today's Tuesday, November 26, 2024, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing star 6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing star 6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So we've called this meeting to order. I'd like to say good morning to Commissioner Olson.
Good morning. I'm here. It is a very good morning. Nice and clear and no rain.
It is indeed. And Commissioner Scar is not able to be with us this morning as she has a conflicting meeting.
Did you get me this?
We have somebody unmuted. I'd like to ask somebody to mute online. Thank you. And we'll jump right in with Adventist Health Tillamook and President Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
14 patients in the hospital today, plus one brand new baby. We only have one surgery case scheduled today. Ambulance crews did 591 transports yesterday, no transfers, one transport home. 108 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon. That's 2 more than yesterday. 340 discharge delays, 2 less than yesterday. Couple things I'll tell you. If you or your family or your neighbor or friend is in need of outpatient dialysis services, they're more than welcome to call 842-4444 and ask to be connected to administration. One of the executive assistants will get them connected with DCI so they can start making plans to have their dialysis here once they get licensed and get opened up downstairs. Want to congratulate Tracy Welch. Tracy Welch has been one of our she's been one of our on-call chaplains for a couple of years, and she, as of last week, became our lead chaplain officially. So very happy that we have the chaplain role filled, and Tracy is going to do an amazing job. She's an amazing person and just very excited about that. Last thing I want to let you know is Dr. Ben Douglas is going to be retiring here very soon, and we're going to have a retirement reception for him, and the public is invited. So if you know Dr. Douglas, we'd love to have you join us at Pacific Restaurant on the 19th of December from 1:30 to 3:30 to wish him well in the next chapter of his life. Dr. Douglas has been practicing medicine for about 40 years and last 15 in Tillamook. And so he is just an amazing individual all the way around and a great doctor, and we will miss him definitely. So unless you've got questions, I'll go back on mute.
Thank you, Eric. Well, that is a bunch of good news. Good news for Dr. Douglas. Congratulations to him and also to Tracy. I just had the opportunity to meet Tracy last month, I think, and to be in chapel there with her it was after the Civic Advisory Board meeting last month, and okay. She was wonderful. It was really a pleasure to meet her and to sit in chapel with her.
We are blessed to have Tracy lead our program.
That's great. And fabulous news about the dialysis center. So thank you for your ongoing excellent work for that. People are talking about it. I hear people talking about it all over the community and what a benefit it is. In fact, Senator Weber and I were just talking about it yesterday about what a benefit it is to our community. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
With that, we can move on to the Coastal Caucus. Senator Weber, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Good morning.
Good morning. And the roofs around me are white. I'm hoping that I have one geranium that has so many blossoms that are ready to come yet. I hope it didn't freeze, but I don't know. It's that time. Start over again.
Yeah, it's true.
I wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed our get-together and our discussion yesterday morning. I think that we have a lot of things in common, and I think that together we can work out a lot of things. and I really appreciate your being able to educate me on a lot of things that are happening in the county. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Um,
I value it also. Thank you.
I wanted to point out that we've got a Christmas tree lighting coming here right in the middle of Tillamook on December 7th. The festivities are going to start at 3:30, and you'll hear from me, and I'm sure you're going to hear from Nathan with a similar announcement. But you know, it is such a wonderful community activity, and it culminates with the light parade, and it just has such a good spirit and feeling to it. And City of Tillamook has been doing this for 22 years. There's going to be activities. There's going to be entertainment, food, and turning on the lights and lighting the Christmas tree. And I can hardly wait for it. And I'm hoping that the community will turn out, as they always do, for such a wonderful night. I've had a busy week. Last week I went and visited Oregon Youth Authority at the Trask High School because I was really curious about curriculum and a lot of other things. So I had a really good presentation from the faculty and staff and saw some folks I hadn't seen in a while that I knew through they're going through Wilson School and being community members. And we did talk about curriculum and housing and faculty and plans for the future, and had a very good podcast that we produced concerning the Trask High School and all of the opportunities there are out there for being able to help young people at what stage they are in their life. Maybe they haven't made some good choices, but to help them see a clearer path forward. And I want to thank Trask High School and Oregon Youth Authority especially for affording me that tour. Then I went straight from there up to Astoria. ACFA has an interesting plan going forward. They had a person from the Iceland Ocean Cluster, and I was going to tell you what her name was, Dr. Alexandra Leeper, and they are talking about what we can do with fish byproducts and what we on the coast here should be aiming for with our fish byproducts. They calculate that an Atlantic cod right now has the value of about $4,750 because not only do they produce the cod meat, but they make, out of what's left, they make pet treats and cod liver oil, and they use the roe. They tan the skins for leather, make cosmetics, supplements, collagen, omega-3 oils, snacks. I didn't realize that snacks made out of fish skin were delicious, but I guess they are. They're really important in skin grafts and fish food for fish farms, energy drinks. I mean, we could go on and on and on about what they are producing with what is a byproduct of a codfish. In fact, they even take the heads and dry them, and they are used in Nigeria. And so they are able to sell every dried fish head that they have. So it was a real interesting evening in seeing how we can maximize what we have, because, so little of the seafood that is actually served here on the coast is harvested here on the coast. And so besides focusing on that, we have to think about what is left, what we can use it and make into. And then, of course, we had the challenges on Highway 6 this week with the highway dropping at the 35-mile marker. I have been assured that geologists are working on that. They are preparing for the future for what might happen. They're, if they're not able to be able to fix it so that it is safe, they are preparing other plans for the future. But the problem is all of this costs money. And so, yes, the revenue forecast did come in with a very aggressive amount of money that may possibly be available. However, do we know how much it's going to cost to fix that highway? And remember that I got that bill passed that studied the whole highway, which came up with, a report that was far more extensive with delineating the problems than I think anybody ever realized. And you can go to ODOT and you can get that report. You can find out what kind of information was gathered and put into that report. I also checked with the folks up on Highway 30, and we're talking about things like capital construction projects, what we can think about, especially to enhance our housing issues with our infrastructure, our sewer, our water, our roads. Of course, with Highway 30, that is also an issue. I had the pleasure of meeting with the delegation from Taiwan that was here. They were very interested in learning about our disaster preparation. And I believe that they also spent time sharing their information because they have a lot of issues in Taiwan that mirror our issues with our resiliency, being ready. And they added some really good points to the discussion. And I have to tell you that Randy from Emergency Services and the folks from up north, Bill the Handler, gave excellent reports on what we were doing in our area. It's my hope that that can spread throughout the district because we never know what's coming. It's always a crapshoot when we're talking about Mother Nature, right? This weekend was also the Education Foundation event, and it was a comedy show. And it was so good to be in the theater and to listen and laugh and to listen to other people laughing. We have a lot of things to worry about. We have our economy, we have jobs, we have education, what's happening in some places in our district with education. But it was so good just to hear people laugh. And I want to thank Brett Hurleman for putting the show together, and the Education Foundation will definitely benefit from all of the people who were able to come. Pelican Brewing was the site for the get-together at the beginning, and they did some wonderful food. And so, it's just our community coming together to have a good time, and it was wonderful. This week, I'll also be in meeting with the National Environmental Causes Group because they are very concerned about offshore wind and wave energy and coastal priorities. And we're also working on, the wildfires took a lot of money, and it impacted a lot of our contractors in fighting wildfires. And so right now, the state is working through being able to finally finish paying for all of those wildfires. They're devastating to both humans and to wildlife and to the, forests, but they also are something that costs a lot of money, and we have to be able to pay for it. So I think other than telling you all to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, we're going to have family here, and it will be good to be with them and eat as much turkey as we can. So I want to wish you all well. I am very grateful for being able to be here every Tuesday morning and talk with you so that you know more about what being in the legislature, being involved in government is about. So thank you all. I think I got it all. And Mary Faith, once again, it was so nice meeting with you yesterday morning.
Thank you, Senator. It's nice meeting with you also. And I am thankful for you. I'm thankful for your service. And I'm thankful for our friendship and the things that we can work on together. It means a lot to me.
Thank you.
And I'd like to ask you, you're welcome. I'd like to ask you to repeat the information about the tree lighting because Nathan George is not able to be with us this morning. So you may be the only one who talks about this.
Well, I may. Well, remember, it's December 7th, 3:30 in the afternoon, down in the right in front of City Hall, between City Hall and the courthouse. The trailer will be set up so there'll be a stage. There will be crafts to do. There will be coloring contest, and the prizes are wonderful this year for all the kids in the coloring contest. The thing is, we also have a lot of community involvement when we do this, and we have a wonderful list of sponsors that are helping us out with this. And so it's a wonderful way to start the celebration for Christmas. And remember, it culminates in not only the lighting of the tree, but it also the light parade, and Lisa organizes that. So be thinking about being a part of that if you've never done that before. But there will be entertainment starting at 3:30, and then there's always free food. And then there's just a lot of fun and meeting with old friends and just enjoying the season, the start of the season. So I hope that you'll be there. We've been doing this for 22 years, and I think that every year it gets better. You get a good feeling when you leave for the turning on of the lights within the community. So see you there, December 7th, starting at 3:30. It'll be a great time.
Thank you very much. That sounds like fun. I was fascinated by what you were talking about visiting Astoria and the visiting folks from Iceland who were talking about all the work, the products that they produce with the byproducts of fish. I think that's so interesting. It's interesting to think about what more. I know we do some things with the byproducts of fish, fertilizer, et cetera, but what more could we do, and how could we expand that industry? I think that's fascinating.
The thing that I was so amazed at is how they can tan, like you do leather, fish skin, and how beautiful it is and how sturdy it is. You know, I thought fish skin wasn't. I thought maybe, well, I know that Nelia takes salmon skin and make salmon bacon out of it by deep frying it. But I had no idea that there were so many other uses for salmon skin or for fish skin. And Dr. Leeper had several examples there of different kinds of fish skin that had been tanned. And they can make it in any color. And they were talking about a celebrity who has a jacket made out of tanned fish skin. And, well, how beautiful it was. But there are all sorts of things that you can make out of it.
That is fascinating. I wouldn't have guessed that either, and I've never seen it, so that it was surprising to me when I heard that from you. And just think about how much fish skin is available if we were to learn to do that. It's amazing. And while you were talking, I was thinking about how beautiful some fish are. You know, steelhead and spring salmon, and some of those skins are beautiful, and I just never would have thought of doing something with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that it
is
also
very
can be used, you know, for skin grafts. They
Wow.
showed pictures of how, they use it for grafting. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. And thanks also for representing Tillamook County and really the state of Oregon with the delegation from Taiwan that was learning about emergency preparedness. I'm really grateful you could be there.
Thank you. It was very interesting.
Well, with that, if we don't have any other questions for Senator Weber, I'll ask if Representative Javity is with us.
Hello, I'm here.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'll keep this brief. I think Senator Weber again covered most of everything. Legislators and staff are preparing to get back into session. Organizational days are going to start on January 13th. So we've got some trainings coming up, including public records, open meetings, ethics, security, cybersecurity, et cetera. So that's filling up our schedule as we get ready for session, as well as just getting some legislation, refined and ready to go as we start talking with our colleagues about ideas and bills that we hope will get across the finish line. It's looking like Republicans are going to lose one seat due to some last-minute vote tallying, and so we'll be in a super minority, it's looking like, in the upcoming session. That means that the Democrats have enough votes in both chambers to pass any revenue increases that they want. So there's the potential for some tax increases coming in the upcoming session, including things like the gas tax, as Democrats look to fill holes in the budget and needs in different agencies like Oregon Department of Transportation. So I don't have any details on that, but whenever the legislature is in a super minority, the two sides don't generally need to collaborate as much on things like revenue bills. So I'll keep everyone posted on that as we move forward. Other upcoming events, we do have legislative days coming up on December 10th through the 12th. And all the committees will be meeting to get updates from different agencies, as well as to get some previews on some different bills that we might be discussing in January. Other areas of focus, there's some discussion right now over property tax reform, over providing relief, especially for our seniors. And this would include things like freezing property taxes upon retirement or reducing school bond burdens. But there are some complexities that remain, especially when we start freezing property taxes. It means less money locally for county budgets, et cetera. And so while these are early talks, I thought it's worth just giving everyone a heads up that this is something that's getting discussed as constituents or throughout the state are upset about the cost of living. Wildfire victim support is another big area of conversation right now. In fact, there might be a special session called here in the next several weeks before session starts to discuss a budget reallocation. And basically what's going on is that there's some money that needs to get spent on wildfire mitigation, and due to some changes made by the Oregon Department of Forestry, they don't have the money they need to do that, and so they're trying to move money from one area to the other. And so it's going to require a special session to go in and talk about what happened, why does the Department of Forestry not have the money they need, and should that money be appropriated while to get ready for the upcoming fire season, which they anticipate will be pretty bad due to just a lack of moisture. And we're also urging Congress as a legislature to pass a House resolution that will exempt wildfire settlement funds from federal taxes, which would align them with Oregon's. Right now we give relief as well for money that's given to wildfire victims so that they don't have to pay taxes on that. And then in the realm of public safety, we're looking at some reforms to address concerns about defendants being released without bail. So we'd like this bill that we're talking about would try to ensure custody is maintained until arraignment and provide the funding that the county jails would need to accommodate this pretrial custody. Other good news, I did see that email that came through this, I think yesterday or earlier, or later last week about Tillamook County's growth as a tourism destination. I won't steal anyone's thunder, but I just wanted to say that that's fantastic. It's great to see that we're benefiting from the transient lodging tax revenues that come from that, and hopefully we can put those to good work where they're most needed. Upcoming in the next couple of weeks, other than Thanksgiving, I've got some local meetings with different leaders. I'll be meeting, of course, with our wonderful Tillamook County commissioners and different school boards up and down the district from Clatsop County, and Tillamook to discuss their education priorities, and looking for information on infrastructure projects that we desperately need funding for throughout the district to build housing, et cetera. I know Seaside was just awarded some significant funding for their water storage project, and that will be improving water quality up there and reducing some financial burdens on the residents who have to pay those higher water bills in the current system. And I'll also be talking with leadership about different housing concepts that they'd like us to see work out as a state, either through funding or cutting more red tape, so that we can build some desperately needed houses up and down the coast of Oregon, but especially up here on the North Coast, where between all the different regulations and land use laws, it's getting nearly impossible to improve or build housing to improve on our housing shortage. So that's my update for this week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your report, as always. Commissioner Olson, do we have any questions for Representative Javidi?
No, I think so. I'd congratulate him again on his win and the fact they're getting ready for the session. And it's a long session, as pointed out. So, yes, good luck with that. And he's got a lot of people behind him to help. So keep things moving.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. I will look forward to meeting with you soon. In fact, there's a couple things that I'd love to talk with you and Senator Weber about. So I'll be reaching out to set up a meeting with you soon. And happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, thank you. You too.
All right. Well, with that, we can move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center.
And good morning there, Commissioners. It's Ed with the Health Department.
Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Tillamook County. Well, holiday COVID-19 booster reminder. If you've made your holiday to-do list, check it twice and make sure that getting your COVID-19 booster is on there. It's not too late to get the COVID-19 booster along with your flu vaccine. These annual preparations help support your immune defenses against the latest strains circulating in the community. Health officials say it's important to get vaccinated ahead of the holidays when respiratory bugs tend to spread quickly with increased travel and indoor celebrations. Anyone 6 months and older can receive the COVID-19 flu or COVID-19 and flu vaccine at the Tillamook County Community Health Center. Please give us a call, 503-842-3900 to schedule your appointment today. Well, this week is Thanksgiving, so we do want to talk about Thanksgiving food safety. First off, we want to wish everyone a safe and healthy holiday season. If you're serving a turkey, we want to share some tips to prevent foodborne illness. Turkey and its juices can contain germs such as Salmonella, Campylobacter, as well as other bacteria. Whether you're cooking a whole turkey or just a part, take special care to prevent food poisoning. First off, cook to a safe temperature, at least 165 degrees. It is best to use a food thermometer to make sure your turkey has reached a safe internal temperature of 165 Fahrenheit, even if your turkey has a pop-up timer. Insert the food thermometer into 3 places, avoiding bone, and that's at the thickest part of the breast, at the thigh where the body and thigh join, and at the wing where the body and wing join. Avoid washing your raw turkey, which can leave behind bacteria that can contaminate your sink, countertops, and other food and utensils, which increases the risk to you and your family of getting sick. If you do decide to wash raw turkey, immediately clean and thoroughly sanitize the sink and surrounding area. To further avoid cross-contamination, do not use the same cooking utensil or cutting board for other food that was used with the raw turkey. And as always, please wash your hands before cooking, after handling raw meat and when done cooking. For more advice, please visit our Facebook page. Our health fair and Spanish clinic earlier this month was a success. We had over 250 participants join. This fair wrapped up our health literacy campaign that can be viewed on TillamookCountyWellness.org and Tillamook County Wellness's Facebook page. The campaign was accessed by over 13,000 people and shared resources on how to make the most of your healthcare visit, cancer prevention and screenings, how to cope with cancer, and an array of other health resources. So follow us on Facebook for updates on our next events, and we hope to see you at our next one. And lastly, as a reminder, our offices are closed this Thursday and then Friday. We will be back open on Monday, December 7th or December 2nd at 7 a.m. Patients can reach an on-call provider by calling our main office line at 503-842-3900. And for any urgent needs, please visit our healthcare partners over at Adventist because they do have urgent care clinics across the county. Patients can call 503-842-4444 to reach the Adventist main line to confirm hours for the holiday. And for significant pain, injury, or difficulty breathing, please contact 911 for emergency care. And that is our health department update.
Thank you very much, Ed. And thanks for the safe Thanksgiving turkey cooking tips. I appreciate that. Well, let's move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Gail Nelson. Give Gail a moment to unmute if she's trying. Well, perhaps we don't have Gail this morning. And we also don't have Tillamook Family Counseling Center with us this morning. So let's move on to emergency management and Randy Thorpe.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I too would like to thank Senator Weber for attending the presentations. It was really nice. It really showed the support that our county gets from our state legislation. And I think that was very important for them to understand that we're not in this alone, that we do have help. And again, it was a great opportunity for us to show what we're doing in emergency preparedness. And of course, Belda Handler with Emergency Volunteer Corps in Nehalem Bay put on a great presentation, and so did Pam Robalt with the Cape Mears program. And so they were both two very impressive demonstrations about how our communities are really getting prepared. And another shout out up to the Bunker Grill. They actually opened on their day off just for the delegates and to have dinner up there. So that was a great thing that they did, to where we had the whole dining area to ourselves. And it also gave us some time there to talk with some individual delegates. And the interpreter they had was really great. And I had a very good discussion, of course, through an interpreter, which is kind of interesting, with a couple of the gentlemen that were representing their police and fire. And we kind of talked about evacuations and the difference between evacuating 1 million people and evacuating a few thousand people. It was quite a lively discussion. So that was really beneficial, at least for me. And then, of course, they took them over to Aerostar Tillamook, which is the old near space. And Kevin Tucker there just put on an amazing demonstration for them. And they were just super impressed with all the work that Aerostar is doing and how that they are a vital community partner for us. And they were impressed that we have people like them that will work with us during times of disaster and any types of emergency. So that was really cool to see, and they were very intrigued with what they're all doing out there. Short work week for most of us, or some of us. There is a little chance of rain in the forecast on through Wednesday, but those traveling still need to prepare, and please check road conditions before you head out. And after Wednesday, the weather's going to be nice, so a little break from all this rain will be really good. And like I say, make sure Trip Check is your traveling buddy. Just will help you be aware of anything that's going on in your travel routes. And if you're traveling to a different state, Idaho and Washington both have their version of Trip Check. So anyway, that's a lot. I think you really need to check that out before you go, because it's you may have to alter your plans a little bit. So, and the good thing is that with all our rain and everything else, our rivers are behaving themselves and they're staying low action stage for the rest of the week. So looking forward to some nice weather at the end of the week. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Randy. And thanks again for representing Tillamook County with the Taiwanese delegation. I heard from Senator Weber that you did a great job, and thanks also to EBCNB and to our other volunteer partners, Cape Mears Community Preparedness Group. I think it was a great opportunity for us to showcase the amazing things that are happening in Tillamook County to another community across the Pacific that has similar safety concerns.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like I say, we chose a smaller community and then a larger organization, so they kind of saw the large and the small here. So that's why Marlene with Orem wanted me to pick those two, so we could have that dynamic between the two. So, and like I say, it was great. It was like I say, that I've never had a discussion through an interpreter, so that was a whole new ballgame for me, but it was fun.
Well, great. Thanks again. And with that, let's move on to the Board of Commissioners and Commissioner Olson.
Oh, thank you again, Commissioner. I do have a few things to report this morning. First, I'll thank Ed at the Health Department for ruining my Thanksgiving dinner, telling me all the food will be full of bugs and germs, and so now I have to be careful with my gravy that nobody gets sick. But actually, so we'll thank him for that. Well, actually, I'm going to my daughter's home, and it turns out she worked at a small restaurant in Eugene the 4 years she was at the University of Oregon, and really did become quite an excellent cook and knows all the safety measures that must be taken. So not to worry, but good points made by Ed. So I won't take him down this morning. He did a good job. Last week, I think all of us, the three commissioners and a number of other senior management, were at the Association of Oregon Counties down in Eugene. And there were lots of things that went on, and I won't go through them all. I'll just say first of all, the governor made an appearance. Governor Kotek was there on one day for a fairly short period of time, but she did speak to the group and had good things to say about what's ahead of all of us over the next year or two. And so that seems to happen every year. And it's good that she takes the time to show up, simply because there's such a connection between counties and cities and the state government, and all trying to do a lot of the same things and working with each other on various tasks. One of the nice things that I've known about AOC and other similar groups over the years, you go down there and talk about a whole variety of subjects, but it's not a competitive environment. Counties really don't compete with each other. They may compete for grants and those sorts of things, but a county is a territory, as is a city. And so if you've got something that's working or something innovative or something that others should know about, it's not like you're sharing trade secrets. You're simply passing on information that this was tried over in this county and it seems to have some success, and maybe it could work in Tillamook County as well, and vice versa. So there's an immense amount of sharing that goes on, because a problem in one area is quite likely a problem elsewhere, and the solutions can be shared. And so those are one of the good things that come out of meetings like this, where you have hundreds of people representing nearly all the county governments across Oregon. And I know the League of Oregon Cities does the same thing, and other groups as well. So it was a good meeting. Another subject here, there's a group called the Oregon Coast Zone Management Association. And it's been around 30 plus years, maybe longer. And essentially what it is a group of cities and counties, port districts, special districts like soil and water and others that come together to pay attention to what's happening on the shore and also our beaches and in the territorial waters of the Pacific Ocean. It's been around, as I said, for quite some time, but it went into suspension during COVID and not much was going on, but it's being reconstituted and I've been part of those meetings. And we have another one in Newport, I think a week from Friday, and I'll go down to that one. We've interviewed some firms to pick up some management of this association. It was for many years and is currently managed by the Association of Oregon Counties, but they've indicated they'd rather not continue the contract, so we'll be bringing in another firm. And basically what this group does, it comes together and marshals either support or opposition depending on what's happening in our coastal water and our waterways, our bays and rivers that dump into the ocean. And there's a lot going on. There's wave energy and wind energy. There's undersea cables. There are sometimes shipping and transportation issues. There are dredging issues in some of our ports like Coos Bay and elsewhere. And so there's a common interest up and down the 380 miles of the Oregon coast. And so that group is going to become considerably more active and pay attention to those things that are happening off the Oregon coast. And keep in mind, Tillamook has about 75 miles of direct oceanfront property. And so more than just a passing interest. So more to come on that one. Another subject, I'll be meeting with our Fair Board again and management and others to talk about some long-term financing options. County fairs, including Tillamook County, have quite a bit of land in most cases, a number of buildings, and many of those buildings are old and in somewhat disrepair and in need of some improvements, both safety and otherwise. So we're talking about maybe some ways to look at the bigger projects and combine them and get a financing package that would be serviced, the debt would be serviced by the cash flow generated by fairs. And keep in mind that all fairs, including Tillamook County, maybe especially including Tillamook County, we have a lot of off-season activities. We have holiday bazaars and various private functions and just all kinds of things almost every weekend. And of course, those people pay some rent as well for use of the facilities. So there is a cash flow stream to help with some debt if that's the way the Fair Board and the county decide to go. So more to come on that one. Another thing I'll mention, the county is looking at its retirement system and has a request for proposals on the street to consider contracts, future contracts with the people who manage the system and select some of the securities and investments and all. And I'll report that only because as of January 1, the county is switching over to the State of Oregon Public Employees Retirement System. And that will be for new people who come on board after January 1, not the existing staff and employees who've been around or in the part of the existing system for many years. No change there, but the big change is Tillamook County will join 33 of 36 counties into the PRS system, PERS, Public Employee Retirement System. And so that's a bit of a cost savings for the county as we move through the next year and beyond. And lest you think this is just a sidebar, the county's retirement system is valued at over $100 million. So we're not talking about petty cash here. It's a pretty substantial investment. It's professionally managed, and the Board of Commissioners have a fiduciary duty to oversee that, which we do. But nonetheless, there'll be some changes coming up, and it will affect future employees. And of course, we intend to keep our current investment in all the right types of securities and follow state law and some federal laws as well. More to come on that one. Early last week, I had dinner with the Farm Bureau, and we talked primarily about some of the FEMA issues that are before us now, including some changes or proposed changes to flood insurance in various floodways and what's allowed and what's not. And the county is, like 31 other counties in Oregon, are struggling with the way forward and what decisions should be made and what FEMA is imposing on us and how hard do we push back. And so we've had several meetings, one at the port a week or so ago. It had, I think, over 100 people and another 70 or so online. The Farm Bureau has been following it and other groups as well. So the county commission will take that up over the next week or two at a meeting and make some decisions on a way forward. And it's really a big deal because I think here in Tillamook County, we have more floodways. We have 9 rivers, and we have more flood areas than I think any other county. I know we've had more federally declared disasters than any other county in Oregon. So more to come on that one, but we're going to have to make some decisions very quickly because there are certain deadlines before us. Another thing I'll mention, a week from today, the Pacific City Nestucca Valley Chamber will have our annual awards banquet in Pacific City at the Kiawanda Community Center at 6 o'clock. I believe there's still some tickets available, and we hand out some awards like Citizen of the Year, Business of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, and this year we have almost a $10,000 check, which is half of the net profits generated during Dory Days, and that will be handed over to the Dorymen's Association. And they're going to take a few minutes and explain the proposed museum that will be honoring the long history of the Dorymen in Pacific City. And so that will be our program, and it's really quite interesting. They're proposing a museum, 2 levels, very near the Kiawanda Community Center. Lots of variables and lots of unknowns, but they're well on their way to making it happen. So with that, Commissioner, I'll just say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. That's a big holiday. People say, well, it's only an American holiday. Well, it's not. Canada has a Thanksgiving, I think, in October, but it's pretty special in America because that's how we celebrate when our country began coming together and people came from Europe and elsewhere to America. And here we are 200 and some years later, actually more than that, 300 and some since they first landed at Plymouth Rock. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner, and happy Thanksgiving to you and to your lovely wife, Patty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I have a couple things to report on. One is I mentioned last week that this week in our Board of County Commissioners meeting tomorrow morning at 9, we will discuss how we want to respond to FEMA in terms of their implementation plan. They've requested that we come forward. They gave us 3 options and told us to choose one, not just us, but all the cities and counties in the state of Oregon that have floodplain. And so I think that's 31 of the 36 counties. And they've told us to choose one of their options by December 1st. So we've been working on this since they told us that we needed to choose in July. So we've been working on a response since July, and we will, as a board, presumably make a decision tomorrow in our board meeting about how we move forward. And as we discussed in a public meeting a couple of weeks ago, where I think we're leaning, certainly I'm leaning, I won't speak for my fellow commissioners, is a 4th option that wasn't provided by FEMA that we've crafted to say this is how we think we can move forward. These are the legal justifications. This is why we think we're on solid legal ground, choosing this option and putting it forward. And so we'll discuss that at length in our meeting tomorrow for folks who are interested. Our meetings are, of course, public, and people can attend in person or online, and you can find the link to that on the county website on the Board of Commissioners landing page. And additionally, I want to mention that yesterday I had the pleasure of spending some time with Governor Kotek. She was visiting Astoria, and I was invited to join because I'm on the NOHA board, which is Northwest Oregon Housing Authority. I represent Tillamook County on that board because it's a tri-county board. And so she was visiting Astoria. She was touring affordable housing projects. And and including one of NOHA's, and so the NOHA board members were invited to join. And so it was the first time I really had an opportunity to visit with the governor, and it was I was just really encouraged about her passion on the subject of housing. It has been something that she has cared deeply about and championed for the first 2 years of her position as governor, but previous to that also, she's been passionate about housing for a long time in her public career, and has invested in housing. And so she was talking about, she did a press release yesterday that where we were, and she was talking about her budget, which isn't yet released, but might come out today, soon. It'll come out soon. She was talking about her budget and how they don't anticipate that there are funds to start new programs, but that she really wants to. Good progress has been made in the last 2 years on housing, and she really wants that to be sustainable. And so she predicted that the public will see that in the budget, ways to sustain the efforts we've made so far, which is encouraging, because I think we've all seen over time, some things get started and funded, and then the funding drops off, and then they're not sustainable. So she was talking about her investment in sustaining the gains that we've made. And she talked quite a bit about workforce housing. Yesterday, the places we were looking at were affordable housing, but she talked a lot about the need for workforce housing and how it informs and influences the economy, that we absolutely need places for employees to be able to live. And so it was just encouraging. It was very positive. And I was grateful to be there. So I thought that was great. And one of the places that we were touring was a senior living complex in Astoria. And it really made me long for us to have something like that in Tillamook County. So I will continue as your voice on NOAA to say we need more new development. We need more housing in Tillamook County. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we had places, some place safe and terrific for seniors? It really would. It was the unit we were at yesterday was in downtown Astoria, and it had been, I think it had been a bank, and then it had been a hospital. It was a historic building with a view of the river, and it was quite nice. We got to look at one of the units, and it was delightful. It was the kind of place I thought, my mom has passed, but I thought I would have been happy for my mom to live here. It was really very nice and heartening to think, oh, I'm so glad that seniors in this community get the opportunity to live here, and I want that for our seniors in Tillamook County also. So that's top of mind for me this morning. We have a candidate for the HR director, Tillamook County HR director, in town. I met him yesterday morning, and then the commissioners will all meet with him again this afternoon. So that's encouraging. He seems very nice and highly qualified. So I'm encouraged about that also. And I just want to say how thankful I am in this season of Thanksgiving. I always like to think about what I'm grateful for. How thankful I am to live and work in Tillamook County. It's the HR director candidate was asking yesterday, well, how long have you been in Tillamook County and what do you like about it? And so it's fresh on my mind that I've lived here for almost 20 years, and I came because it's so beautiful. And I really wanted to raise my child in a beautiful rural community where we'd have lots of outdoor recreation opportunities and the forest and the ocean and camping and hiking and kayaking and fishing, and so that's why I came. But when I fell in love with the community, it was when I was working for the paper, and it became clear to me how passionate this community is about volunteering, and how generous this community is, and how well people come together to help others. it's really extraordinary in my experience how well people in Tillamook County will devote themselves to service for their neighbors. And so there are lots of examples of that. We've talked about a few of them today with preparedness groups. It's really service-oriented community whose values I very much appreciate. And I think in last week in the Association of Oregon Counties Conference, Doug was referring to, we had a session about bridging divides and how we come together in divisive times. And I was thinking about all the ways that we come together in Tillamook County. And, it's not that we all believe the same things or vote for the same parties, but we come together in very meaningful ways. We come together for emergency preparedness. We come together for fundraising. We come together for the why. We come together for health districts. We come together for recreation districts, for the things that we support with our taxes and our volunteer hours and our dollars and our talents. And there are many, many ways that we come together, and I am very thankful for that. And I'm thankful for everyone I work with and everyone I work for. So with that, I will move on to the cities, beginning with Manzanita.
Commissioner Bell, can you hear me?
Good morning, Linda. Yes.
Bell? Oh, good. Oh, good. Well, first, I'd just like to thank you for what you're doing and what the commissioners are doing. You just kind of took my thoughts and just expanded them. This is really a time of year to be thankful for and grateful for all the wonderful things that are going on in Tillamook County, and particularly focused on the good work of our commissioners, our legislators, taking the time to let us know what's going on so that the community is well informed. And I know we are very grateful for what you're doing and really appreciate all the hard work that goes into that. As a council, we are really thankful for our great city manager and terrific staff. They've really worked hard this last year, and because of their hard work, we have several meaningful projects that are on their way to completion. The one that we're probably most excited about is our Classic Street infrastructure project, which will hopefully lead to workforce housing in the next couple of years. Our city hall is on time and on budget, which is pretty good. That's a project that we have talked about for the last 10 years, and it looks like the end is in sight, and we're very excited about that. We are also very grateful to our community that has really stepped up and helped us in putting together a comprehensive plan. As you know, a comprehensive plan is only as good as the community input, and the community is engaged. We've had several, the most recent meeting we had was essentially a sellout. We had a very productive meeting, and it's on its way. So all in all, I think 2024 has been a great year, and there's just a lot to be thankful for. We have our Christmas celebration on Friday, December 6th. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus will arrive on our fire truck to the celebration on their way to Tillamook for Saturday's celebration. Neocani Choir will be there, and the tree lighting will be at 5:30. Again, thank you for all you do, and we're just really happy that we've had such a productive year. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much for your report this morning, and also for all of your great work in North Tillamook County and countywide with various efforts that you're involved in. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone on from the city of Nehalem or Wheeler? How about Rockaway Beach?
Good morning, Tillamook County. This is Charles McNeely, Mayor of Rockaway Beach.
Good morning, Mayor.
So I'll start with a big thank you to our Public Works Department for getting us through the season's first king tides and bomb cyclone. Much of our city sits in a floodplain and subject to flooding, and this year it was minimal and debris from the high winds was cleaned up quickly. So great job, city. Great job, Public Works. Rockaway Beach branded reusable shopping bags arrived last week. We now have 2 different sizes, a large and a small, and City Hall staff will reach out to city business license holders and begin the process of distributing bags to our merchants at no charge. And a big thank you to Nan Devlin and Tillamook Coast Visitors Association and all the tourists that come to town and generate transient lodging tax for us. Moving on, Rockaway Beach is recruiting to fill a new administrative assistant position at City Hall. This is a customer service focused position that will also work on utility and other customer accounts. Please share with anyone you know who may be interested in a career with Rockaway Beach. Information and application is on our city website. We plan to hold a first review of applications beginning December 13th. We've posted notice of the open position on our planning commission. Commissioner Zedrick stepped down, and we want to thank her for her years of service on the planning commission. She leaves a big opening that hopefully we'll find somebody who can fill that position. Applicants must be a resident within the city of Rockaway Beach or a registered voter in Tillamook County living as a full-time resident within the city's urban growth boundary. Applications may be picked up at Rockaway Beach City Hall or found online. The deadline for submitting applications is January 6th, and selection of the new Planning Commission member is tentatively scheduled for the City Council meeting on January 15th. And then there's more. Then at our Thursday Planning Commission meeting, Commissioner Umholtz announced she will not be able to complete the remainder of her term on the Planning Commission. So there'll be another opportunity for new members of our community to step up and participate in the governing of Rockaway Beach. I jokingly, I was telling people that after doing this recent hearing on an appeal on a Planning Commission decision, I really loved drilling down into what Planning Commission does. And I jokingly said, I think I'll resign as mayor and apply for the open Planning Commission position because it looks like exciting stuff. Well, I'm not going to do that. I love being mayor, but I do encourage anybody who really wants to get into the middle of things in our city. The Planning Commission is a great place to do that. And then last, I'll just mention that this Friday is our annual Christmas tree lighting at the Wayside, beginning at 5:30 p.m. All are welcome, and it'll be a great time for everybody who chooses to attend. And with that, happy Thanksgiving to you all. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor, and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone on? You're welcome. Do we have anyone on from the city of Garibaldi? How about the city of Bay City?
Good morning, Commissioner Bell. This is Leanne Welch, Mayor of Bay City. How are you today?
Good. Good morning, Mayor. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Well. In fact, this morning at 9:30, we have coffee with the mayor and city manager. So if there's anybody that wants to come visit us, the boosters are providing coffee and snacks. And so coffee with the mayor this morning at 9:30 to talk about anything they would like to talk about.
Fun. That's a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you. And actually, we have really good discussion. So I'm very happy to keep doing that. Our next city council meeting is December 10th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. And we've got a lot on our agenda, and a few things that was probably going to be of interest is, you just talked about workforce housing in your meeting with Governor Kotek. So we are actually looking at potentially reducing our system development charges for accessory dwelling units. And we're looking at 3 types of accessible dwelling units. One, are you going to convert a room in your own home? 2 is, are you looking at converting a room maybe above your garage in a different structure from your home? And the 3rd type of ADU we're looking at is it a totally new structure? So currently our SDCs are about $18,000, And so looking at to encourage housing, do we want to reduce some of our SDCs on that? So we've had pretty robust discussions on that, and our city manager put a resolution together today for our December 10th meeting. Next was Will Redding from Our Sanitary gave the city council a presentation at our last meeting. They are going to start curbside recycling. Now, they are required to do that in July, but they want to start early. So we were really happy to have Mr. Redding come and talk about what their services are going to be. And so we're looking at what are those fees associated with curbside recycling. So we've got a resolution on our city council agenda to look at that. And they're going to actually take away our recycling shack, which is probably a good thing. It's in pretty, like Commissioner Olson said, it needs some repairs. And so we're looking at curbside recycling, which I'm very thrilled about. I'd like to congratulate our fire department, Chief Christensen and Officer Singden wrote a grant. And so we were awarded a grant from the Department of the State Fire Marshal for defensible space for the built environment. So Bay City is a certified fire-wise community, and getting this grant and continuing to get rid of fire fuel that we don't need in our city is helping us to continue with our fire-wise program. So thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Fry for being leaders on that. We're also looking at a resolution to adjusting our fees for permits and other services from the city that will be effective January 1st. So we've got a lot that we're discussing here in Bay City. And also our Boosters Club will be putting up a Christmas tree and decorating City Hall on December 2nd at 10 a.m. And if anybody wants to come help the Boosters, they are more than welcome. So a lot going on in our little town of Bay City, and thank you for the opportunity to share this with our community.
Thank you, Mayor, and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you. You also.
We do not have the City of Tillamook with us this morning, so that concludes our call. I'd like to thank KTIL as ever for broadcasting. Thanks everyone for participating. Thank you, Tillamook County, for listening, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We are adjourned at 9:07 a.m.